If you have junk that you love to use, especially little junky items, get those out and let's make over some of these recycled items. I'm going to go ahead and jump in with project number 1. Now this can is not going to look anything like it does right now, and you guys are probably going to think I'm a little crazy when we get to the end of this. The first thing I'm going to do is put a piece of cardstock over this. Now this piece is a Tim Holtz, I think it's an older Christmas piece or a piece of paper, and I'm just going to cut it off at the end and we're going to go ahead and glue it. I'm using 3-in-1 or Fabri-Tac glue. Now you can use whatever kind of glue you want to with this, Mod Podge, anything like that will work. But I'm just using this because it immediately, well, not immediately, but it sticks really well and it doesn't make the paper wrinkle or soak through the paper. Once I get this on here, we'll have probably a 1/2 of an inch that's going to show, but we're going to do something pretty different with this. I hope you guys love it as much as I do. And again, this is going to be a trust the project or trust the process project. Now I'm using one of these like card looking things from Tim Holtz Christmas line this year, but don't worry, we are going to be using some everyday items I know you all have in your stash for some of the projects coming up. All right, once we get this card on here, the show really begins. I dug out some of my junk, including pieces from necklaces, little cheap Santas, little cheap bows, game pieces, anything that I thought would look good together and make this sort of a hodgepodge arrangement. So I took this little Santa, smashed his back a little bit and flattened him, added some of my 3-in-1 or Fabri-Tac and some hot glue, stuck him on there. And we're going to do that with a lot of these other pieces. I had so much fun making this, and of course, as always, I had no idea how this was going to turn out. I just used a vintage earring you saw there and a domino, and the paper pieces, I'm just using a glue stick off camera to put those on. I loved doing this, and it's almost like collage on a can, if that makes sense. Look at this. That's a tally, vintage bridge tally card. I just cut it down and added it on there. I think I used a little bit stronger glue than just a glue stick with that because it was pretty stiff and hard. All right, now this is an old locker number that had green paint on it. I'm assuming the lockers were green and it was easily bent. I'm thinking it was made of aluminum, and I bent it and I used some of that 3-in-1 glue and just a touch of hot glue, not much, because I didn't want it to dry real thick, and it stuck on there perfect, and it's dry and it's not going anywhere. Now here's just a little sneak peek of our base. I wanted to do something a little fluffy at the top and of course finish covering the top of that can off. So I used some of this red and white twine and hot glue, and I just put the hot glue in a couple places, wrapped it 3 times, because we're going to use this green pom-pom to finish it out. And I just used hot glue all the way around with the pom-pom trim. Okay, now I have put just some recycled spongy styrofoam down in here, and I'm going to take some of this tulle that has glitter on it, which, the glitter was awful, but I needed it. And this was given to me free. I had a bunch of this stuff given to me. So I just shoved it until I could get that white color covered. And what I'm going to do is take some of those skewers from Dollar Tree. I'm going to pop off the tops of ornaments. And then I'm going to put some hot glue down in that hole to keep the skewer and the ornament attached to each other. I do end up taking gold rub and buff on all of my sticks, and I don't show this on camera. I only show you, I think, a couple of these where I stick them down in the styrofoam, and then we'll come back and they'll all be stuck in there. Now, after I did the sticking of these in here, I of course added more pieces and more tulle. I fell in love with this. It's kind of maximalist, I guess, maximalist decor. These could be custom. Imagine if you did a Disney one like this with Disney characters sticking out of the top of the can, or a tulle one with tools coming out and then all these little nuts and bolts and a background picture of a workshop on the front. By the way, I have a surprise for you all if you stay until the end. Now, this next project, it's not really a recycle, but I had to throw this in here. We'll get back to the recycling here in a minute. Now, I had painted this green last year. I didn't even finish it. The wheels are not done, and I just stuck it in my stash. Actually, I think it was the Christmas before. I just couldn't get any inspiration, but I saw it, and I knew that I wanted to use some of these new IOD transfers, and I just picked some out of each pack that looked how I wanted. And you know, if you've done transfers before, you just kind of take the little stick that comes with them, rub and pull your topping off at the same time, and then I take my hand and kind of smooth over them, or you can take the back of the plastic or the topping of the plastic and do that. Just be really careful. I try to make sure that I rub mine down really good before I start pulling that plastic off. I noticed there was a little drip there, and I thought, you know what? I think I'm going to make this a little vintage looking. So I grabbed my little sander, and I just went and sanded on all of the edges, kind of on the inner edge, and even around the wheels. I don't do it all at one time, but I went ahead and got that started to get that little drip off of there. Now I just keep picking out transfers that I think I'll like on each side. And this squirrel, oh my, he is so, or she is so cute. So I put it on the side, and then I take the beautiful red cardinals and put on the other side, and I end up putting birds on both ends of this. I really wanted to add some sort of red to go with the colors in the transfers, but I didn't want to add too much. I got more of a muted color, and I showed you the color this is. It's a paint couture, and I thought, why not just go over these little wheels a little bit, and we do something else, and you'll see the change that it really makes. And I actually, I'll have to tell you about that coming up. So I do the wheels, and then I do the top edge of the wagon, and that's it in the red, just to give a little bit of enhancing color to the reds in the transfers. Now there's kind of a little, it's not even a hole, there's a divot where a hole could go. And I did forget about painting this little knob red, and I just used some wood glue from Dollar Tree to glue this on and sort of cover that up and give it a cute little accent. I go ahead and do a little bit more of that sanding to give it a vintage look and to go over some of that red. Then I give it a clear coat of my favorite RUSTOLEUM matte clear coat. The link is in my description box below for that. Once I let all that dry, I thought I want to add some gold on here, but I knew I didn't want to do rub and buff, and I thought, what if I get my golden ticket, which is a kind of a patina, and I remember in my head that this was clear with a gold hint. That's not what it is. It is like a straight up gold paint on top of here, which is fine, but not the look I wanted. So you know what? I thought, I think I'm going to grab a baby wipe and see if it will wipe back enough to still see through the gold and show the red, and it did. So it worked out perfect, but it'd been so long since I used this because I'm such a huge rub and buff fan that I thought, oh yeah, I remember that's kind of clear. No, it's not. So I did that, and then I put it on. You can see me looking at it like, I did that, and I put it on the little red knob and on the red part of the wheels. And I love how this turned out. But I can't show you the photos or the beauty shots of this one until the end of the video because it will give away the surprises coming up. But you do get to see a little bit of it here at the end. Project number 3. Most of the stuff I used for this one was free, or given to me. Now this was a chicken can, I think, and this is some vintage Current brand wrapping paper. Comes in squares flat in a pack from like the 80s. So I'm using the same method with that 3-in-1 glue, and I'm just going to wrap this around the edge of this can, making sure I get it right underneath that lip. Now I have a can opener that opens cans without a sharp edge. You can find those on Amazon. I'm taking scissors and just cutting little strips of this to glue down on the bottom. We're going to take a thick piece of red cardstock and just go over the bottom with this. And what I end up doing with this wrapping paper, I don't know, I was thinking maybe I should have Mod Podged it on because it's very thin. So I went ahead and put a clear coat of that Rust-Oleum matte just to protect it from tearing or getting, stains that won't come off. I mean, hopefully no one will be using it like that, but it's a decor piece. So I do put that red cardstock on the bottom. It's very thick. It's more than cardstock to finish that off. And then I'm going to use this recycled piece of foam that came in some packing, some Gorilla Glue, and a little bit of hot glue to keep my foam in there. I also have some white styrofoam that I keep from packaging, and I cut a sort of circle. You're not going to be able to tell when we finish with this that it's not a true circle. I grabbed just a bunch of my florals, picks, trees, whatever, and most of these florals and those Christmas ornaments and little spirals all were given to me last year in a big bunch of Christmas stuff. So I'm just cutting slits in that styrofoam and adding hot glue to put that down in there, or using a tool to puncture holes. I had these two Santas from my Tim Holtz Christmas stuff, so I thought, why not use a paper cardboard Santa? And then I had this little present that came in just those really cheap presents, and I added a bow to it. This ribbon was given to me in a huge bag of stuff. Someone that shops my booth left me a large amount of craft supplies. Thank you if you watch my videos. I've not seen you since I picked them up. And that's just more of those berries that was given to me. Let's see, what else do we put on here? Oh, I know one thing that I use on here. I wasn't real sure of. I use these white sort of snowball things from Dollar Tree. Oh, and I'm using that little clear star. I took them off of a big strand that was given to me and just kept the stars instead of the strand. And now I'm able to use it in this, which is really cool. And I made a little, took a little matchstick and put a little Christmas sign on there. And now I'm just taking some red pom-pom trim and putting around this. I'm not sure about all those white balls. I originally had 3 green ones on there, and I took them off because I thought they just looked odd. Let me know what you guys think about the white. Was there something else I could have added that would have made this not so bright? I do like how it turned out, but it's not my favorite piece. Project number 4. Now, you all know, if you've watched me for a while, that my sons love to bring me things to make over. He bought a fancy recyclable water container, bottle. I don't know. I don't even know what it looked like. But this thing is super strong, and I thought, you know what? We can make this over. I do love the beautiful colors on it, but we're going to put 1 coat. That's right, 1 coat of this Brook by Fusion is going to cover this. And I'm only painting, of course, the blue part. I'm leaving the part where the lid goes on. Painting that would just be disastrous because the paint would, come on and off. It's fine. It's not going to show. Once we get 1 coat and this dried, you are going to see something I love so much coming up. Now, I have always loved Nutcrackers, but over the last couple of years, I've kind of become obsessed with them at Christmas, or not even at Christmas. And I saw that Prima had these transfers, and I knew that I had to have this pack. And these are from the story The Nutcracker, so that's why they have other things than just the Nutcrackers. All right, so I put this on there and I do a just some first hand kind of rubbing to get it down and stuck, and then I go and start at the top and just pull that topping paper off while I'm rubbing at the same time. And then I just take my fingers, because I have ripped so many transfers with that plastic piece. Sometimes I'll use it, it really just depends, but I just am rubbing these with my fingers. Now I'm taking some of these beautiful gold snowflakes from this tinsel transfer pack from IOD and just placing a few of them on here. I kind of feel like after doing that Maximalist can that this is a little plain now, even though I love it. Let me know if you guys think I should have added more to this after you see the final project. We are definitely not finished with this, but look at those beautiful gold snowflakes on here. And I did add a couple of the other snowflakes that weren't metallic from the original Nutcracker transfer pack. Now I picked this piece out of one of the I can't remember which one, but it's one of the new IOD packs, and I put that just around the lid, and I grabbed this little piece of junk, which is a very vintage closet doorknob, and it's so lightweight that it just worked perfect for this piece. I just placed a screw up in the top and, you know, attached it to the handle, and I'm going to show you how this pulls off so easily and just really makes a big difference to this piece. To finish this off, I'm adding my favorite matte clear coat from RUSTOLEUM. Let that dry, and this piece is finished. I was so surprised at how the paper did not wrinkle or anything from the original packaging. It just took the paint beautifully and the clear coat. Let me know what you guys think about this one, and is anyone as obsessed with Nutcrackers as I am? Let me know in the comment section below. Project number 5. Okay, this one is my very favorite of this whole video. We're going to use this vintage bingo card. Now you can use the front of a greeting card as I just showed you. I'm actually just using some blue Walmart paint, Walmart brand paint or apple barrel, and I added a little water so it would be more of a see-through, and I'm not covering the complete card. I wanted to give a beautiful blue hue to the back of this for what we're going to do in the forefront, but I didn't want to cover up that gorgeous bingo card. Now once we get this on there, I'm going to let that dry, and then the magic is going to begin with this piece. I just dug through my stash and pulled out some things that I thought might look good on here, and that's including things like game pieces, paper stuff, especially from Tim Holtz line. You know, you can cut out things out of magazines and do this, like Christmas magazines, trees, anything like that. I've got a little bit of sequins that we're going to use, and I think some buttons. I just had so much fun doing this, and I used these candy cane, really thick cardboard pieces to kind of make this have a top and a bottom like it was a scroll. And I added just a couple little tickets here because I want my Santa to have some of those little ephemera things sticking out from him. This is something you can definitely enjoy and have fun in creating. The next project I'm going to show you, we're going to be using, actually there's 2 more projects. We're going to be using some things that are not Tim Holtz because I really want to show you all options, because a lot of people don't want to buy it, or maybe it's not even their style. I'm getting ready to use a button here, and this is really old. It's a really vintage button. I did add a red string on here, a couple red bells. If you got any inspiration from this, give me a Santa emoji or type Santa in the comment section below. Now don't forget, we have something I'm going to be sharing with you all at the end of this video. It's going to be lots of fun, what I show you all. Stay tuned till the end of the video. Project number 6. This one's going to show you how you can use things you already have. You don't need a bingo card, and you don't need Tim Holtz products. I mean, if you have some, that's great. What we're going to do is use these book images, and I'm going to cut part of an Amazon box off, Now, I love this little Christmas tree sitting by these books, and I want to get that on my creation. So I am just gluing with my glue stick, and I've grabbed some old music paper. If you have just a book page, you can use that. Any type of book page can be a great background. I'm just gluing that down, cutting that off, and then I've cut my little tree in its little bucket with Santa on it, and I'm going to do the same technique as we did with the blue background, except I'm using red this time, and definitely plenty of water. Now, this didn't make my paper bubble or anything like that because I just light-handedly swiped this over the whole piece. After I get this video out, I'm going to sit down and make a bunch of these because I love this process. So I dried it just a little bit with my heat tool, and once I got it dry, now the fun begins. I'm going to use my little tree. It's kind of going to be my focal point, even though it's not going to be in the center. But I found this just tool that has these glitter discs on them, and I thought this would be perfect to go over for my background. Now, because I am using this, I'll need to use some Fabri-Tac glue. In other words, to get my pieces to stick, to this. But to get it attached, I'm using hot glue because I need it to dry kind of quick. I don't want my fabric to move. Now, Fabri-Tac would have worked on this as well, but the hot glue is going to get it stuck there so I can work on top of it. I looked through my Christmas scrap paper and found this piece. And I'm just going to use this, tearing the corner and just gluing it down to kind of give, some more texture and a different pattern on this. Now, you can use just red and green stuff or just black. It doesn't have to be Christmas to make it look like Christmas. And I'm going to show you how I do that in the last project. It's not really a Christmas piece, but it's going to look very Christmassy. All right, so I'm just using that Fabri-Tac glue, getting that piece on the corner, and we're going to put our tree with Santa on it right on top of that and kind of a little bit to the left. And I think that just gives it so much interest and makes it look so cool. But I do love torn edges. If you don't want the torn edge, you could just cut it straight and perfect, and that would look great too. I'm just adding a few embellishments that I have. If you don't have words like this, you can either cut them out of magazines and, make your own, or you could hand draw on paper and then cut it out and then glue them down. So there's definitely plenty of ways for you to have this type of stuff and make it if you want. I'm using some green, I think this is Rustic Wilderness by Tim Holtz. And I'm just going around the edges to kind of give those a festive look. I just continue to add things on here that I like. You literally cannot mess these up. Just add them wherever you want and how it looks good to your eye. That's the feel good of these type of projects. Now I'm just going to trim all these off. I do go ahead and add some of that music paper to the back of this. I'm just adding a few buttons and bows just to give it, like I said, a little bit more of a festive look. I will take my Crop-A-Dile, and I do have that linked in the description box below, once we get done with all this, and put a hole in it like I did with the other things. I don't think I've mentioned that I've been using my Crop-A-Dile. One of the things that I did with this that was fun is I thought Santa needed just a little bit of color, so I went ahead and grabbed one of my red Posca pens, and I went over his hat, and then I thought, oh, I need to do his nose. And although Santa, a lot of the photos and artwork has like a little cherry red nose, I colored his red, and I was like, oh my, does he look like Santa or does he look like a clown with that red nose? It's really cute though. I also took some red twine and took hot glue and just glued it all around the edge of this so that it had a nice edge instead of that cardboard. For the hanger, I'm using more of that free ribbon that was given to me by one of my customers. And I'm going to loop that through so that it's a hanger, not just like string hanging off the top. And then I tie the end. I go ahead and pull that tie to the back of this ornament. You know, this can be anything, just something to give someone to hang by their desk. And then I'm going to put some glue there to keep the tied part where it's supposed to be, and then the loop will be in the front. Let me know what you guys think of this one. Project number 7, I could make a bunch of these too. So I told you all I have that can opener that just takes the lids off and they are not sharp. I am using one. I've already painted the background white. It wasn't necessary, but I think I did that for a different project. I am tracing around this picture that I found in that kid's book that is just a girl sitting in a red dress and the boy has on a green hat and green pants. Now it's like a winter scene, but it's not Christmas. But because they have those Christmassy colors, we're going to use this as part of our Christmas decor. So look in those books you have and see if there's red and green or the colors you want to use for Christmas, and just cut out photos. I mean, they're not, you know, celebrating Christmas or anything like that. I use my glue stick and I'm just using a little paper towel to make sure I get it around there really good and smashed in those crevices. And now I have this little, I think it says Merry Christmas or something like that about the holiday. So I'm just taking my green StazOn edging or pad to edge it to give it more definition. And then I'm going to cut out just some florals to kind of go under that and cover the little feet on the guy, kind of make them grounded, like there's something kind of in front of them. And once I get those little green pieces glued down with my glue stick, I'm just going to take that little banner and kind of put it over his legs and then part of that greenery. If you have stayed all the way till the end of this video, leave me a Christmas tree emoji or type the word Christmas. All right, now I'm adding just a gold flat back and some sequins that I had in my stash. And now just some of that pom-pom trim just to make it look more festive. This is so easy to make with book page images, or like I said, you could use magazine images. This is kind of off subject, but I saw on Pinterest that someone had took the real estate cards from a Monopoly game and turned them into mini notebooks. Oh my, I am so thinking about making some of those for little Christmas gifts. You all, would you like to see stuff like that on my channel? All right, we're adding just a bow here. I didn't have enough of that red, and that's fine because I would put something at the bottom anyways. And I already punched my little hole with my crocodile, and I'm sticking more of those just bunches of different types of string and ribbon through there and doing the same process we did earlier. Now, the back of this, I just added some book page, just the wording. I didn't even, you know, make sure it had a picture or anything. And I did take a little red paint and go around the edges in between the pom-pom trim and the back of this. Let me know if you guys like this one. I almost forgot to show the wagon. Here it is, all the sides, and look at all the goodies that we made in it. I love how this looks. It's so cute with all the little things that we made. You guys will have to let me know if you like the wagon. That squirrel is just so cute. So this was my first glue book journal that I ever did. It is actually a Ranger. I think it's, oh goodness, I'm trying to think of the name. I don't know. It's a specific designer that made this journal. And when I bought it, I had no idea what I was going to do with it. But anyways, you can see the style that I did this glue book in. Of course, there's still work that can be done in it. It had like different types of pages, cardstock. It had craft paper. It had this, oh gosh, whatever you call that stuff. I always forget the name of it. And I just, you know, at the time was really into the dark and moody. Not that I'm not now, but you'll see the difference in this glue book and the ones I'm going to show you. And like I said, there's plenty of room to work in here, but I did, you know, kind of work it all the way through. And I do have, you know, quite a bit of color. It's just not really too bright and in your face, you know, like that's a Christmas one. So yeah, this one still can be worked on. You can see it's a little thick, but not too much. And I didn't remove any papers out of this one. All right, so I follow Nicole at Relax Cut Glue. I'll have her link in my description box below. I have followed her since I was doing junk journals on and off over the years, and I just started watching her stuff again. Although I don't have a lot of time to do videos, you know, with my other job and just life in general, I still like to de-stress and craft that's not for a video or not for my booth, because that's the most relaxing crafting for me. What I did was, she has a collage book and it's just gluing. Now I used scrapbook paper. Some people only will use magazine images in certain glue books, and then some people will mix it with all kinds of stuff. Me, I don't really care. This one is just collage, and you can actually, it's kind of like big master boards, and that's what, you know, Nicole says in her videos. And this does have lots of magazine images. I don't think there's anything in here. There's book images and magazine images on this one. And there's not that many in these, so this is not going to be real long. And this one, and what the point of this masterboard book is, you can do all these, and then if you want to, you can tear them out or cut parts off them, or you can just leave them like this and you can go back and put images on them and make, you know, scenes or art, paint over them, whatever you want. So I've just done a few, and that's it. Like I said, I've just started back again, and I've had this in my stash. I made this with my little cinch machine. Now this one's just a cutie. I call it my urgent meltdown book. So if I'm really stressed and I just want to do a little page, I can. And I've not done too much. I just cut out the papers and added, you know, them to use my cinch. But it's just some, you know, cute stuff. And like I said, you can see the difference. I still have some dark stuff in here, but these are just backgrounds. I just took random pages, random text, scrapbook paper, magazine images, and just made the whole book. So it's ready for me to put cool, like this, do scenes on it. And then this is just a composition notebook from the Dollar Tree, and a lot of people use these for all kinds of things, not just glue booking. They use them for art journaling, everything. So this one started, I need to put something right here, and I haven't yet, but I put this on the edge because I saw someone else had done this with their glue book and I really liked it. And so I basically started putting the backgrounds in, and I'm not doing the pages like one at a time. So I'm not gluing my pages together for this or moving any pages. You can, but I am just putting, because by the time you put down this on one page and something on the back, it's very thick. So this is actually a magazine page that had this typewriter, and then I just put this girl on here, but I've not done anything else to it. It's mostly just backgrounds for me to go in and work on. And a lot of mine, I love getting stuff out of books. Some of these are out of books, some of them's magazines, and I don't mind that. So I just wanted to kind of show you something that you could do. This is really quick and easy. If you've got free magazines, just sitting down and cutting out things to put and glue. And glue booking to me is not something you're not going to make. Well, I mean, some people do want to buy glue books that are finished, absolutely, on Etsy, so you can check that out. But you know, this is not making for a video. This is not making for my booth. It's just for me to relax and have a little fun with the other crafting things that I like to do. So I thought that I would show that to you all. And when I decided to do this, what I did was I just took some magazines that I got for free, and I went through them and just cut out a bunch of things that I really liked and just started doing it. That was it. I just found notebooks or made notebooks that I had in my stash, because, you know, as crafters or creators, we always have a ton of papers, and I just use my papers to make this one. And you can definitely make more, especially if you have a cinch machine. Let me know what you guys think. And if you glue book, I know a lot of you have talked to me in the comments and said that you do junk journals and you do all kinds of paper crafts. So I felt like this is something that I could share with you all and we could talk about in the comments below. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.